OpenAI reportedly developing an AI-powered social media platform to rival X. Zuckerberg defends Meta's tactics in a landmark antitrust trial. And China halts rare earth exports, disrupting global supply chains. Welcome to #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. There are rumors that OpenAI is in the early stages of building a new social media platform, with internal teams quietly exploring how its AI could transform how people engage online. If launched, the platform would compete with X, formerly Twitter, offering an alternative grounded in possibly fact-checked, moderated, and curated content. Multiple outlets, including The Verge, TechCrunch, Business Insider, and Bloomberg, have all reported that OpenAI has assigned a small team to prototype a social network that leverages its ChatGPT technology. The goal? A healthier digital public square powered by AI tools for content moderation, discourse ranking, and misinformation detection. Business Insider notes that the company has already tested ChatGPT in roles such as newsfeed generation and automated fact-checking. Axios confirms experiments with AI-enhanced discussion feeds, though insiders say there's an internal debate about whether OpenAI should enter the media space at all. Frustration with existing social media, especially around disinformation and polarizing discourse, appears, however, to be a driving force. Bloomberg reports that OpenAI leadership, including CEO Sam Altman, have expressed their discontent with the state of online conversation and see this as an opportunity to use their technology for positive public impact. The effort remains early stage with no confirmed launch timeline. Sources stress that a public platform is not guaranteed and that the company is weighing ethical and strategic implications. But if OpenAI moves forward, it could reshape expectations for social media, especially around moderation and trust. But entering this space also brings risk, from content liability and user privacy to political backlash. The next moves will determine whether OpenAI truly intends to shift from building tools to hosting the conversation itself. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg took the stand Monday in a historic U.S. antitrust trial, defending the company's acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp as legal and necessary moves in a fast-moving tech landscape. This case could reshape how U.S. regulators approach mergers in the digital economy. The Federal Trade Commission alleges that Meta used its size and resources to squash competition by buying up potential rivals. In court, Zuckerberg maintained that acquiring Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp in 2014 helped the platforms grow and innovate. He argued that Meta was playing by the rules and didn't dominate any market unfairly, adding that the competitive landscape had shifted dramatically with the rise of TikTok and others. Under questioning, Zuckerberg described Meta as a company constantly adapting to user trends and innovation cycles. He denied that Meta had a buy and squash process where they would find a new emerging competitor, buy the company, keep the staff, and kill the offering. People use multiple services, he testified, and we have to fight to stay relevant. The FTC, however, points to internal documents suggesting the purchases were at least aimed at neutralizing companies as future threats. The trial is part of a broader effort by U.S. regulators to hold big tech more accountable for their market power. Now, if the court sides with the FTC, it could force Meta to spin off Instagram and WhatsApp, setting a precedent for undoing completed tech mergers. For developers and startups, the case raises questions about whether exits via acquisition will remain viable. And for enterprise tech leaders, a ruling against Meta could signal a more aggressive regulatory climate for deal-making in digital markets. I might have passed this story by as a tech story until I heard Vice President J.D. Vance say that China didn't have a lot of what are called rare earth minerals. They just processed them. Every news report I found claimed otherwise. But it seems we're going to find out for sure shortly. China has suspended exports of critical rare earth metals and magnets, intensifying trade tensions and raising concerns about global supply chains. The move, which took effect April 3rd, affects industries reliant on these materials, including technology, electric vehicles, aerospace, and even defense. Rare earth metals, and I hope I'm saying them right, such as neodymium, dysprosium, and praseodymium, if I'm saying these correctly, are used to make strong magnets found in speakers, microphones, and vibration units of smartphones. So even though you haven't heard of them, they're pretty important. Additionally, europium, yttrium, and terbium are used to create the vivid colors in smartphone and television screens. These elements are also essential for the miniaturization and performance of modern electronic devices, making them critical, but often invisible in our daily life. Now that's just a few usages. They're used in electric motors for vehicles, drones, robots, missiles, jet engines, lasers, and computer chips powering artificial intelligence, servers, and smartphones. If the supply runs out, not only consumers will be hurt, industry, and particularly defense industries in the U.S. might even shut down. This export suspension targets 7 heavy rare earth elements and associated magnets, with China producing approximately 90% of the current global supply. And this action is, of course, in response to increased tariffs imposed by the U.S. on Chinese goods. Affected industries are bracing for potential shortages and increased costs. For instance, MP Materials, the largest U.S. rare earth producer, has seen its stock fluctuate as it ramps up domestic production to mitigate reliance on Chinese imports. But reports are that MP Materials could not begin to cover the demands of the entire U.S. Many U.S. producers have stocked up, anticipating supply disruptions, but those stockpiles will eventually run out. Countries like Australia are accelerating their efforts to develop independent rare earth supply chains. The Australian government is considering strategic reserves and supporting projects like Lynas Rare Earths to reduce dependency on Chinese exports. But Vance was right at least in one aspect. It's not just the mining of these materials. The processing of them is important as well, and that's been a bit of an environmental disaster. It'd be really interesting to see which Western company would step up to do this processing. So Vance's defiant announcement will get tested. He's already gone viral on Chinese social media when he referred to the Chinese as peasants. And since the Chinese government controls social media, unlike the U.S. where a few billionaires control it, this last comment is not only approved Chinese policy, but it's unlikely to make the U.S. any friends with the population of China as well. So we'll find out who's right, or at least the U.S. will. China is reaching out to other countries, starting in Asia, for new trading partners. And that's our show for today. And again, I apologize if there are politics in this story, but it's an important story for the technology industry. Hope I covered it fairly. That's our show for today. Love to hear what you think. Email me at editorial@technewsday.ca or catch me on LinkedIn. A number of you have found me there. Or if you're watching YouTube, just put a comment under the links. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.